Hello, and welcome to another episode of Bergen Stages Television. I'm Jim Bumgardner, your host, and we're the entertainment magazine here at Bergen Community College. Currently at the college, we're in rehearsal for one of my favorite William Shakespeare comedies, Much Ado About Nothing. And who better to talk about this play than two of the leads in this production? I got Ray Parente, who's playing Benedict, and we got Christine Dunning back to the show, who's playing Beatrice. So welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
And welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
So a lot's been going on since actually we just saw you guys both performing last spring in Noises Off. So yeah, what a terrific production, and I think our audiences totally loved it, and it was complicated. And I want to ask you in a minute about comparing doing a farce like that and then doing a Shakespeare play. But first, let's talk about you guys. Christine, welcome back. Your first production here was...
I Hate Hamlet.
I Hate Hamlet, right,
Yeah.
right. And you've done several since. What else have you done here?
I did a couple of young playwrights.
Right, right.
I did Into the Woods.
Into the Woods, right.
A Flea in Her Ear.
That's right.
Noises Off.
That's right.
Much Ado About Nothing.
Great, great. And Ray, I just looked at my Facebook pop back up and said, it's the 5th anniversary of doing Brighton Beach Memoirs, which was your first production.
Yes,
here.
it was.
And what else have you done at the college?
I've also done Company and Noises Off, and then this, and I believe that's it.
Okay, cool, cool,
Yeah.
good, good. So let's just talk about what are you doing here at the college? Where did you come from before you got here, Ray?
Before I came here, I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, which is a conservatory in New York City. Studied theater there, but then the fates had it that I would come to Bergen after that, and I'm currently studying theater, and yeah.
Yeah. So what bit the bug? How did you even, where did it start happening for you? Was this a high school thing, a middle school?
When I was in middle school, I had a really good friend, Brennan. He kind of egged me on and sort of pushed me into doing the little school musical that they do there. I think it was Bye Bye Birdie. So that was my first experience doing a show. And then after that, I did show after show after show, almost all of the shows in high school, except for Noises Off, which came full circle, did it here.
Yeah, yeah.
And every show at high school in there. And then when I played John Proctor in The Crucible, my junior year, that's when I kind of really started to look at acting as less of a hobby or a fun thing to do, more of a craft.
Cool. So the musicals were just kind of fun, but once you got into the John Proctor Crucible role, suddenly said acting is this is cool. And where'd you go to high school?
Wayne Valley.
Oh, Wayne Valley. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
in Wayne.
Great.
Yeah.
And Christine, I know we talked about it a little bit last time you were here, but just refresh. How did you get here? Where did this acting bug bite you?
So I think I started loving theater because when I was in middle school and we had electives, the electives that I could choose were between something like knitting or theater, and I was like, theater sounds better. But then I really enjoyed it and started doing some of the plays. I used to mostly like to do like background stuff, like I like doing sets and props, and then when I started auditioning for things, then I was like, oh, this is really cool too. So I love all of it. I'm actually doing props for
You are,
Much Ado About
yes,
Nothing.
which is such a creative side of you gets to come out on
Yeah,
that
I
side
love
too,
that.
so cool.
And then I'm at Bergen. Right now I'm taking some classes for fun. I mean, I've graduated last year, but
Congratulations.
thank you.
Yep.
I just like taking classes here. Like, there's just so much on the menu, and it's like if you can take classes and learn different things, then why not do that?
And from different people, just kind of, see what they have to share with you.
Yeah,
That's
do a
cool,
show,
cool.
take a class.
And you're not, New Jersey isn't home originally, was it?
Yeah, well, so I'm from New Jersey. I had moved out to California for a while,
Right.
and then I moved back about 3 years ago.
Cool. So high school was in Jersey?
Yes, Verona.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Now I remember. It's all coming back to me now. Cool. So an interesting thing that you talked about was that as a performer, you don't mind doing the backstage stuff too. Do you think that's an important aspect of any performer? Should they have that opportunity?
Oh yeah, I hate actors who won't help out with anything else. I think it's awful. Actors are the lowest on the totem pole, and they should be taking care of everybody in the background.
This is an actor speaking.
Yeah.
Here, yeah.
Yeah, I think you should learn how to do everything because you never know, especially during productions when things go wrong. if you can help, you should be able to help and know how to help. And
Want that skill set.
especially on a stage like on the Saccone, we have some really great equipment back there, but it can also be really dangerous. So it's important for the actors to know how things work so that they don't get hurt and other
You're
people don't get hurt.
shaking your head too. You're agreeing with this.
Well,
That an
yeah,
actor should be.
of course. It's important that everybody's on the same page when it comes to working with stuff like that, so that, like she said, if something goes wrong, you know how to
You're there to
react.
Do you think it also might give you a career option, just looking
Oh,
at
certainly. Yeah. If that was another thing that I was thinking about. If you know how to take care of other things around rather than just looking pretty on stage, you can find different avenues towards different things, and you might find something else that you like other than just being on stage.
And I'll be one that did that. I went on tour doing a follow spot operator, and somebody had to drop out of the show, and they put me into the show knowing that I was a musical theater person as well. So I think there's that opportunity that, at least it's a career in the theater. I think some people, if they
Yeah.
can't do acting, they turn their back on the whole thing. And it's like, there's so many great parts of it. Don't you love the whole thing? And I think that's what
Yes.
you're kind of talking about here, and I think it's great that you're doing props. And I know you helped Matt with props and Into the Woods. I know that you've pitched in all the time, and I think that's so cool. It makes it well-rounded, and I think we try to teach that here in some, with stagecraft and lighting class, to theater performance and production classes, just kind of get you involved in all these things. So Ray, how much longer do you have here? What's the trajectory? Not that we're in a hurry. We love having you guys here. Just are you having a plan after?
Yeah, I am in my last semester here.
No.
Yeah, I know. I'll probably come back.
Oh,
to,
good.
Still remain within the community.
And you'll have your associates in theater for acting.
For right now, yes.
Okay.
But when I transfer, it will likely turn into a philosophy and political science.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And where are you thinking of going?
William Patterson.
So you want to be a lawyer? Is this?
Yeah.
Acting and lawyers, they're pretty much the same thing,
I
right?
mean, you get a stage, you get an audience.
It's all set up
You
for
make a case.
Everything the Greeks said you had to have, you're going to have right there.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I didn't know. And so are you taking any of those kind of classes here, criminal justice?
No. I have taken some philosophy classes, and some political science classes. But other than that, it was kind of decided very recently. So.
But that's a cool thought to do. I mean, that's a long. With the bar exams and all that kind of stuff along the way. And you think you'll stay in the area doing?
You mean staying in
once you
New
finish
Jersey?
school?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, certainly.
Awesome, great.
Yeah.
Well, you can represent Christine in all her acting, and you'll be her
My
lawyer.
burglary case.
Yeah.
So let's get back into this path of that you're taking. Christine loves taking classes here because there's a lot to offer, and I guess I'm kind of pushing the program because I think we do have some great things even in the theater, but also having the opportunity to take other classes like philosophy and political science. Some good faculty here. So. Putting it all together, what would you suggest a student do here if they're thinking about Bergen Community College? Is it a good choice? Is it no, go on to a four-year school and start there? Do you have any advice to give to our
I'd say this is a great place to start out if you're right out of high school, or if you're trying to get back into education, because the community of faculty and students around here, everybody's really great and very, very knowledgeable.
Seems a wise choice. And Ray, you've taken your time to do this. You weren't like, I got to do this in 2 years. You're like, and you did some
I've been
working.
here for a while.
You did working and things. Well, I don't think that's about,
Yeah.
some people think, oh, it's a 2-year college. And I don't think that's what we are anymore. I think that used to be that. But it's just a matter of some people take only a 9-credit load and not a 15-credit load. And so it takes, longer to finish. But because you're working too, you have jobs and stuff. And I know that in 4-year schools, people don't tend to work. They don't tend to have jobs unless they're on campus. So I think that's such a good thing. And Christine, you agree that coming to community college is a viable option?
Save money.
There's the money factor too. Yes.
Yeah, I mean the classes are. The thing I thought was incredible was when I was looking to transfer to see if do I want to do a 4-year? Is so many of the credits transfer over. And when I've talked to advisors and they've said, well, do you know where you're thinking about going? Because we'll make sure you're taking classes that everything will move over. It's just so cool. You don't have to think about it. There are people here you can
care
communicate with,
that-
like
yep.
you and all the advisors.
Make
that
it seamless that you would move to wherever it is that
Yeah.
you're good. Well, that's a great thing. So that's school biz. Let's talk show biz a little bit now. So as I said at the beginning of the show, both of you guys were just in Noises Off in the spring, which is a hysterical farce. You both were awesome in your performances. I think you stole the show. Both of you just had your moments that you just totally stole the show. So now we're doing a William Shakespeare piece. So, and this is a comedy. It's a William Shakespeare. And again, I don't know how, but it's one of my favorite. I love it. It's not about women dressing up like men. It's not that kind of comedy that he's typically doing. So what's the difference between doing a Noises Off comedy and doing, other than the language, but maybe the language is a huge part of it? Or is there any difference? Is there, it's like
I guess
the show's a show?
you could say it's a little less, well, there's no, it's not a farce, so there's no like farcical objects and just stuff being thrown around. So it's more based on making what is written clear, so that it lands and that people can pick up on the humor that Shakespeare was, trying to put out there.
And not using shtick and that kind of
Yeah,
stuff to
yeah.
make the comedy. The comedy's in the lines.
It's very smart humor. Yeah.
So you focus on the lines a lot. You look at the literature and try to make an interpretation. Where Noises Off, it was kind of clear, I guess.
Yeah. It's at least easier in a contemporary piece for people to pick up on what's funny.
Yeah.
With a classical piece like a Shakespeare, you kind of have to spell it out sometimes because it's not always palatable for
Taking
everybody.
your time with it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So looking at the auditions then, because it's great that you've done both of these stuff, how was the experience of auditioning for, Tom O'Neill is directing this piece. Tom brings everybody in, you're smiling. So what was the experience of auditioning?
Why did you audition for this?
I auditioned because Christine really wanted me to be in this show.
He hadn't done Shakespeare. I said, "You're so good. You have to do Shakespeare. You have to." And this is such a great play.
Yeah, it is. It's
and
a
you
lot
guys
of
did a
fun.
workshop this summer a little bit with Tom, right?
Yeah, a
Both
little
of you
bit, yeah.
participated, which was helpful, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it just
Oh,
kind of
sure.
loosened you up and said, okay, I get my tongue untied from this Shakespeare kind of stuff. So but took her advice and you came on audition. So what was the audition like?
Well, the first night that I showed up to the audition, I was not exactly prepared. It didn't go as well as it could have.
And you knew this.
Oh,
You
I
knew
could
this as
feel
an
it.
actor,
Yeah,
not
I
being
could
told by someone you
feel
really
it.
suck. It's just more you just said,
Yeah.
this isn't my thing.
This is not the best that I can do.
Cool.
So I went home and I just looked into the play, looked into the character, and when I came back, I just did the best that I could, and it felt really good, and I guess it worked
And
out.
that's great. This self-evaluation for an actor to do is so crucial, as opposed to not sitting back and looking at how that not in the moment, but afterwards going evaluate. How'd you do, Christine?
I knew I wanted to be in this show because it's my favorite Shakespearean play, period. And it's just, Beatrice is such an amazing part. So I was so familiar with it coming into the audition, and just the hope that everything would work out with chemistry with other actors in the show, and there are always all these factors that go into getting cast, and just hoping and praying that whatever it was I was doing was going to be right for whatever else Tom had envisioned. And I feel so lucky and fortunate that it worked out. And fantastic people to be in the play with.
Yeah.
And it's
Which is fun, and we'll talk about
Yeah.
what's happening now in rehearsal in just a moment there. But did you come back twice? Did you do one audition? You didn't feel like a need to come back the second time, or once
well,
was enough?
he asked both of us to come back.
Okay.
Yeah, callback.
Oh, okay.
So,
So you had callbacks after that, which are a secondary audition, just kind of pair you up, I guess, a little bit more and all that kind of stuff. And all that kind of stuff.
That's basically what the second night was.
A callback, just to get
Sort
everybody
of,
in there.
yeah.
Great.
People who auditioned the first night that he wanted to see again, he asked to come back for the second
And
night.
allows you the opportunity to do better if you
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like you
right.
did well the first time. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to just talk about specifics about the show and this where you are in the rehearsal processes with Much Ado About Nothing. So come right back, and we're going to talk to Ray and Christine a little bit more about Much Ado About Nothing.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love, love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Hello and welcome back to Bergen Stages Television. I'm Jim Bumgardner, your host. Today we're talking about Much Ado About Nothing with two of the leads from the show, Ray Parente and Christine Dunning, who are playing Benedict and Beatrice in our show. So did you guys, we were just talking about the audition process, did you know these were the roles you wanted to do?
Yes.
At first, no, and then yes.
So you didn't know which role you wanted, or was there another one you had an eye on?
No, it was kind of like well, as we got to the audition and as I was looking at the play more, I kind of came to realize that, hey, Benedict looks like fun. and then I really looked into Benedict and
So Christine wanted you to come to the audition, but didn't tell you why.
no,
She's pretty clear. You need to read this part. It's a really good part.
Yeah,
it's a really good part. Well,
I'm thankful for it.
Talking about the show a little bit, I think if I remember right, Claudio and Hero, you would think would be the leads of the show, but suddenly these two characters that you guys are playing really take over the story. It's just
Yeah, it's really cool.
right.
Yeah.
Am I right? It was supposed to be about Claudio and Hero, and then you just go, okay, they're nice, but
yeah.
So tell us about a little bit of the plot, because it's Shakespeare. So can you help Christine? What happens in this story?
It takes place in a little port town in Italy, and it's Renaissance period is how we're setting it. The soldiers come home from war. Benedict is one of the soldiers. There's also a prince and Claudio. They come to this town where I live with my cousin on my uncle's estate. And the Hero and Claudio are the young lovers. They fall in love at first sight. We previously know each other, and we hate each other. It's one of those.
Yeah.
This love, hey, almost Taming of the Shrewists.
Yes.
In a way, they're kind of going on there. But okay. So you knew each other. And Claudio and Hero are lovers. Were they already planning to get married? Was this kind of before the play starts? This kind of was set up, or did it happen at the masquerade?
No, they lock eyes when the soldiers come back, and then
So Romeo and Juliet still there. Yeah. Okay.
Claudio decides, hey, I really like this girl, and Don Pedro the Prince goes and woos in his name, in Claudio's name, and Leonardo gives him his blessing, and they are set to be wed.
Cool. And now everybody knows you two are rivals, but they all kind of instigate something. What do they do?
They decide that they're going to trick us into being in love with each other. So all the girls get together and they trick me into overhearing that he's in love with me. They trick him into overhearing that I'm in love with him. And so we go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you
They're in love with me. That makes sense.
That changes everything.
I guess I'll help him a little bit. So you guys sort of kind of get together with a little trepidation, I think, in the beginning there.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorites is calling him into dinner. It's just a funny moment there, but I don't want to give that away, but I think it's just a funny moment in the play. And then Hero and Claudio are going to get married, but what happens There's a brother involved.
Yeah, there's Don John.
Don John's involved here.
Who and
hates
who hates Don Pedro.
Pedro, yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's because he's the runt of the litter, and Don John devises a plot to completely ruin the wedding by making Claudio think that Hero has been unfaithful. And so Claudio makes a big show at the wedding and decides to denounce Hero and her character. And
And so this big scene happens, which we think kills her.
Yes.
Her heart broke, and she's dead. And so I don't want to give too much of it away because then it goes off into a whole wonderful direction after that, believe it or not. But there's some heavy moments in this play.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like in his tragedies, he throws the little comic moments, and in this comedy, he throws some really hard stuff there. You know, it's like, this is, so cruel. But this trick that happens, and I think that's a part of this whole play. Everybody's kind of deceiving each other and tricking each other. It's kind of like this pattern that we see over and over again, how they got the two of you together, but also how they trick Claudio into thinking that Hero's unfaithful as he gets one of his men to be with her servant ladies. Right, and she's kind of dressed as her, and that's what he sees that happening from afar and is making these assumptions, just like they know you're nearby to have an eavesdropping moment. It's like, there she is, so let's talk so that she can hear what we're saying, and with you as well. So it's all this plotting that goes on. Does it all work in the end?
Well, it's a Shakespearean comedy.
Yes.
So we know at the end of tragedies, everybody dies. In the end of comedies, everybody gets married. So it's a happy ending.
Happily ever after. Great. And is there a lesson learned in all this? Do we learn anything? You know, I'm just thinking, I teach neoclassical theater and all this kind of stuff. You know, do we want the audience to walk away learning, hey guys, is there a thought, and maybe I'm putting you on the spot with a theme to this play?
I would say that the lesson to be learned is the two characters have huge egos and have a lot of gates that lock themselves away from love and all that, and a lot of it, and also the plot line with Hero and Claudio, it all kind of comes down to everybody making too big of a deal of either themselves or of situations, when at the end of the day, it's sort of like love is all you need. So it's
you're making much ado about
much
nothing.
Ado about nothing.
Much
exactly.
ado about nothing, and just kind of, and this honesty thing. It's like, just be, honest with each other. Just look inside yourself. Look at the love that you have, and let that kind of come through. And don't try to force things onto each other, kind of stuff like that, which is an interesting thing. So, and I love. You said it earlier that we're setting it in the Renaissance. That's when it was written. Some people update this play. I just saw Hudson Valley Shakespeare do it, and they put it in the 50s, 40s, 50s. Cool. Yeah, hoop skirts and all this kind of stuff in there. And it works, but I love seeing it in the Renaissance period. I love the costume. So Marie Natalia is our costume designer. Have you already been working in rehearsals with costumes? Does that?
Not full costumes as of yet, but we've gotten the belts for the swords, which is a lot of fun to walk around with. I've been working in boots, and we have our shoes.
And does that make you, because you're as they say in England, you're wearing trainers, you're wearing tennis shoes. So, but on stage wearing the boots, does that change?
Oh, it's certain when you're wearing the boots, it certainly puts a certain physicality into everything. Every step you take, you kind of feel like is a big.
And having a sword makes you not lean against a wall that you normally would lean against. Whoops, I'm banging the wall here.
You almost kind of have something, it almost kind of becomes like a comfort thing, and it becomes a part of the character, you know?
Sure, yeah, I bet it does, yeah. And Christine, these are wonderful dresses.
Yes.
We did the photo shoot for the press photo, and just your dress was amazing there. But you're not rehearsing in that dress, I assume.
No, we have rehearsal skirts and rehearsal shoes, which are very important because, especially when you're doing something more classical, you have to watch how you're walking and that you're not being too contemporary. And skirts really help you.
Can I interrupt that?
Go ahead.
What does that mean? Just for our young, I'm not being too contemporary. What does that mean, walking in?
So, for example, we had rehearsal yesterday, and Tom didn't make me change into my rehearsal shoes, and so I was wearing rain boots, and we were at the masked ball, and I'm running my lines with Ray and stomping around the stage, which is probably not something that they would have done back then.
Interesting.
It changes your, and I think anybody who's ever worn high heels knows how it changes your posture and how you carry yourself and your balance.
True.
So it makes a big difference in your movements.
Interesting. And that's important for this character you're creating. You knew you weren't being this honest Beatrice now that you're clomping, plop, plop, in these boots. It makes a difference. And I think that's so amazingly important because a lot of people think acting's about memorizing lines, but it's from head to toe. And not only head to toe, but whatever you're wearing for your particular character. How's this character going to walk? Do you think about that? Do you spend time just strutting and sitting and all that kind of stuff? Is that?
Sometimes, I mean, we did watch some videos after
Yeah.
rehearsal
you?
yesterday about movement.
Yeah, yesterday we were working the mask ball scene, and because we're wearing masks, well, we've been kind of thinking like, okay, this is a bit of a harkening back to Commedia dell'arte. So after rehearsal, we stood outside and we were looking up like the characters that our characters might be most like.
From Commedia?
Yeah, from
Oh,
Commedia.
cool. What a great idea.
Kind of
Yeah,
apes
yeah.
movements,
So we were looking at what their stock movements are, and thinking
that's a
about
great
that.
idea
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah. So that's so cool. I'm just amazed at that. So this research is really kind of cool, but also for an actor just to kind of know this feeling of how you're parading yourself on stage is so crucial to get the character you want. To be clear with it. So now you're in the rehearsal phase. You're talking about running lines and all this kind of stuff. How's it going?
Oh, it's going great.
You got a lot of words, and you guys yell at each other a lot.
Yes.
we do.
Yeah.
It's true.
And there's some great scenes, just the two of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun to work together. We've worked a lot with the lines, working on memorizing them, and you know.
And at the masquerade ball, you don't know each other, right? You were in masks, so you don't know each other as who you are, or?
We both know each other.
Oh, okay. So you're playing that.
But it's complicated because we know each other. I know that he knows it's me, but he doesn't know that I know it's him.
Oh, okay.
Stay tuned. Not that
This
works.
deception just continues, right? And it starts right at the beginning, and you're dancing. There's a pavant dance, a
Yes.
period dance, and this sort of thing. And in the midst of all this deception that goes on and all that. So you're heading into run-through soon, right? You're going to start running through this puppy and start
close,
finding the arc of the play, which kind of where the journey that you take. You know it, you rehearse it, you put it all together now. We have Adam Farnan's done the set, an incredible rework of some of the stuff from Noises Off, but it really works beautiful for this. And I love the look that he's given it, that Mediterranean Italy feeling that he's done to this set. And how is that walking up and down those steps in your
Do you have to
boots?
go
I
up the steps?
never go up.
Oh,
Actually, I take a couple steps up to talk to
so
Claudia.
you don't have to
but-
worry about clumping up and down in those boots. Going
Yeah.
up those
Well, I'm only in boots for like the first.
that's right.
But
And then you
yeah,
come
yeah,
back
yeah.
and then you put your dancing shoes on.
Yeah. But for the most part, I don't really go up the steps. For you though, you're
My
up there.
bedroom is on the second floor,
right.
so
you're up and
But
down.
it's I mean once you get over the fact that it feels like you're walking on a skeleton, you know, it's very secure when you go
But
up
it's
there,
picking
yeah.
up the skirt too. I mean, you've got a lot of fabric in front of
Yeah.
you there, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Yeah. So again, we've got Miru Kim going to be doing the lights, which there's some great lighting effects in this particular show for locations, time of day, and all that kind of stuff. And you're doing wonderful props. You and I have been
Yes.
talking a lot about some of the props and putting them together, and all these moments of the show coming along there. Steven Schwartz doing sound. There's a lot of music, dancing we talked about. I think there's some singing too, if I remember.
Yes, there is a little bit of singing.
Yeah, a little bit of singing, which you guys aren't the singers in this. And
We just recently recorded like basically a little cast sort of chorus.
Original cast album
Uh-huh.
dropping.
Original cast
Original
recording,
cast
yeah.
Well, great.
Noises Off.
This is and we open on December 6th, so we're working our way to this opening night. So you'll get into technical rehearsals, dress rehearsals, and all that stuff, and run for 2 weekends. Guys, I can't believe our show is over with, but you guys have been so wonderful. We are so excited about the show. So break a leg on opening night and for the run of the show. Thank you for tuning in, and come see us in the Saccone Theater. Much Ado About Nothing, opening on December 6th and running for 2 weekends. Thanks for watching, and thanks again to Ray and Christine for being on the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks,
for having
guys.
us.